What's up, everyone? Welcome to another World Cup preview. Today we are talking Argentina. But before that, if you haven't seen Group A, Group B, all of those are now done. Be sure to go back and look on the YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button while you're at it too, so you make sure you don't miss the rest of them. We're going to do one for every single team going to Qatar. As I mentioned today, Argentina, 18th World Cup appearance. The last time Argentina did not participate in a World Cup was 1970. Best finishes, two-time champions, 1978, 1986. Haven't gotten to the pinnacle since 1986, but two-time World Cup champions. Argentina finished second in CONMEBOL qualifying behind Brazil. They were unbeaten in their 17 games. They were supposed to play 18. If you remember, there was that bizarre situation when they were playing Brazil where Brazilian medical personnel came onto the field and believed that some Argentinian players coming from the Premier League should have quarantined. This was sort of during the height of COVID and travel and all of that stuff. And so the teams left the field. Originally, it was just kind of suspended and postponed, but it was officially announced they're not going to play the game because it doesn't matter in the slightest. These two teams had already qualified. They didn't need that final game. So 11 wins, 6 draws for Argentina in their 17 qualifiers. Players to watch. Wasn't too difficult to pick the three I want to highlight here, starting with Angel Di Maria. He has the 4th most caps, 7th most goals in the history of the Argentine men's national team. 3 goals and an assist during qualifying. He also scored one of the biggest goals of the Messi era. I'll explain why a little bit later, but that goal that got Argentina their Copa America title in 2021. And Angel Di Maria has scored goals now in 4 of Europe's 5 major leagues. He's only missing the Bundesliga because he's never played in the Bundesliga. But he's sort of been right alongside Lionel Messi through this entire era of this sort of era of this national team. And he is another player, even now that he's sort of getting out of his prime and is at the back end of his career, who can be a difference maker and who can win you a game, as he proved at Copa America. And so he's not the player he once was, but I couldn't take him off this list. He still is that important to this team in terms of supplying Lionel Messi with that help he needs, and just a guy who's been there before on a team that is sort of very much into transition. You're not going to see as many of these names that you've become familiar with over the past couple World Cups. This is a fairly new roster, and Di Maria is one of those holdovers who is still going to play a vital role and has all kinds of experience to offer this team. The second guy is Lautaro Martinez. Inter Milan striker, has been sensational in Serie A. Coming off the best season of his career, he finished second in the league in scoring last season with 21 goals. The year before that, of course, Inter won the league. He was a vital piece there, but he really stepped his game up when Romelu Lukaku went back to Chelsea. And 10 goals between Copa America and World Cup qualifying, despite the fact that he's not the penalty taker because Messi is. He still had 7 goals during qualifying. You can have a conversation about the best attacking player or specifically the best striker Messi has played with on the Argentine national team. I don't want to get into that here, but it certainly feels and looks like Martinez is the guy he has the most chemistry with. You know, it was Gonzalo Higuain for a long time. It's not like Lautaro Martinez is the first guy playing at an incredibly high level that Argentina has been able to stick in that striker position in front of Messi. But it just seems to be working better this way, hence all of their recent success. And this is a team that doesn't have all that many guys who are elite in the top leagues playing for the best teams in the world. And Lautaro Martinez is absolutely one of those guys. He is a lockdown starter. Inter, he is one of Inter's best players. He's one of the best players in Italy and one of the best strikers in the world. And so that guy is always going to be one of my players to watch, and especially because he has had success in these last couple years where Argentina's been so good, which is a really promising sign looking into this tournament and kind of dissecting what could be different when we get to the bottom line and the reasons for optimism. Martinez is part of that. And then, of course, you can't talk Argentina without talking Messi. He has 31 more international goals than anybody else who's put on this Argentinian jersey. I don't need to explain why Messi is a player to watch. There are only two things I want to say here. First, you're not going to get another Messi close to his prime in a World Cup. So savor every moment of this one. And second, this is what I was alluding to with Angel Di Maria. Winning that Copa America was huge, not only from getting Argentina a title and getting Messi an international trophy, but also just from an emotional and mental standpoint and the weight that seems to have been lifted off of Messi's shoulders because he finally delivered for his country. They have come so close on multiple occasions at different tournaments over the years, but have always come up just short. And when you are Messi, playing in the country that produced Diego Maradona, and has, as I mentioned at the beginning, 2 World Cups, that knowledge that you have not delivered an international trophy has to weigh on him. And you saw it when he briefly retired from international duty. It wasn't because of issues with the federation or something. It was because he was just so mentally worn down from coming up short again. He cares that much, and it's been that much of a struggle internationally for him. So, to me, it is not a coincidence at all that the minute they finally got over the line and got that trophy, they have become the most informed team in the world. And it seems to be clicking, and there seems to be this cohesiveness that hasn't existed before. And Messi just seems calm, relaxed, and actually for the potentially the very first time enjoying international duty. And I don't say that to mean he doesn't care about representing his country. I say that in the sense that it certainly looks to me, and there's plenty of evidence to back this up, that it has been a burden that he has had to carry because he's Messi and he's done everything possible at the club level. So naturally the question is, why hasn't he done anything at the international level? And of course, Ronaldo has that Euros to sort of throw in his face in the GOAT debate. Now Messi has a Copa America, and you're seeing a more free, calm, relaxed version of him, which is terrifying for the rest of the world. And he's just at the point of his career where he's not going to have to do this alone, and quite frankly, he probably can't. Which is where having a Lautaro Martinez and Angel Di Maria really helps, and then you always know Messi's capable of that special moment. Breakout star, I'm looking at Fiorentina's Nicolás González. Only played 607 minutes during qualifying, but still managed 3 goals and an assist. He moved to Serie A at the beginning of the 2020-22 season, 21-22, so last season, and then produced 7 goals, 6 assists for Fiorentina. He really has made a name for himself during qualifying. He's another weapon that you can put on the wing to sort of supplement what Messi and Martinez give you through the middle. So that's my guy to keep an eye on. He certainly has established himself at the club level, but in terms of going to that sort of that next level in terms of his reputation, becoming a household name and becoming a key member of this national team moving forward, this will be a big World Cup for Nicolás González. Here is the bottom line in a couple different aspects. Your reason to be confident is very, very simple. They have not lost since the 2019 Copa America semifinals. In any competition, friendlies, they have not lost since the Copa America semifinals in 2019. Now, take that and do with it what you would like in terms of what that actually means. But the reality is they are the most informed team in the world. This is the longest unbeaten international streak in history. I'm not convinced it means all that much. The biggest takeaway I have from this is what I mentioned with Messi. That I am seeing this relaxed, calm, at peace Messi who knows he's already given his country something to celebrate, has given them that trophy, and is now just enjoying being part of this team. And everybody is kind of enjoying being part of this part of Messi's career and sort of this opportunity to have one last run at a World Cup while he is still at least close to, if not still in his prime. You can debate that part of it. He's still an exceptional player, right? This isn't 40-year-old Messi. He's a different player. He's not going to run. But go look at some of the goals he scored for PSG even in the past couple seasons. He still looks like Messi. So that to me is the biggest part of this. Is to me, this all doesn't happen if they don't win that Copa America. Where I'm skeptical is what has happened at the last two World Cups, which sounds weird when you think about the fact that, yes, they got to the final of one of them and lost to the World Cup champions in the knockout stage of the other. But in the last two World Cups, Argentina has not won a game by multiple goals. I'm going to say that again. The run to the final and their somewhat brief stay at the 2018 World Cup where they lost that thriller to France that knocked them out. 0 wins by multiple goals. They were not dominant in 2014. It was a lot of just kind of finding a way to get it done, which is valuable in one sense. But I'm just not convinced this team defensively is going to be able to hold up and make that happen. I don't see that as a sustainable style of play considering what this roster looks like. This roster is attack heavy. I mean, you're still looking at Nicolás Otamendi as one of the most important players on this team because they just don't have incredible depth defensively. And so I'm just not sold we're going to see this brilliant version of Argentina because they weren't great in 2014 and 2018 was incredibly stressful. It looked like Messi was not having much fun at all. And of course they end up losing early to France. But that part's understandable. I mean, that's one of the best games they've played at the last two World Cups was that one they lost. France were just that good and, deserving World Cup champions. I'm not saying they need to blow everybody out. That's not how this works. You do need to be able to grind out those 1-0s, those 2-1s. But you also need to be able to make life easy on yourself if you want to actually get over that final hurdle and not put together 3 good games, 5 good games, but actually win the entire tournament. That's the part I still haven't seen them do, and I'm not convinced we're going to see it in Qatar. Now, the flip side to that is I firmly believe this is Lionel Messi's best chance ever at actually winning a World Cup. And yes, I know, again, he got to a final. I feel better about this team. I also feel a lot better about the level of competition. And so they are among the favorites for valid reasons. Most notably, again, the fact they haven't lost since 2019. And the other good news if you're an Argentina fan is you look at some of the other favorites and they've got massive question marks right now. Whether it's England's offensive struggles, France's ability to actually put a cohesive team together that doesn't rip itself apart. You can go down the list of these teams that are supposed to be right there at the top. And I can point to all of them and give you a reason why they're going to fall apart. Argentina has typically fallen into that group. But they're on the other side of this now, the way they're playing and the way this thing has come together, that they seem to be one of the most quote-unquote stable teams coming into this tournament. And absolutely one of the most confident. Which is why I really do think this is Messi's best shot, like I said before. I still, quite honestly, would be surprised if they find a way to go all the way and win this thing. I just think you're not going to get a Messi who can carry you game in and game out while not giving you anything defensively and enough support when you're going up against some of the juggernauts. Now, the reality is you just got to get to, the semifinals, and then maybe you find a way to win a game you're not supposed to, get one of those 1-0s, and you're in the final and anything can happen. I still am just skeptical that all of a sudden they're going to make it look so much easier, because they quite simply need to play better than they have the past 2 World Cups if they're going to win it. But you're going through the list of favorites and teams you're going to pick to win this thing. And very, very quickly, the other team you would throw in there is Brazil. And you certainly have questions about Brazil's, whatever you want to call it, resiliency, mental toughness. They haven't exactly delivered at World Cups either. So you can go point to all of these teams that are sort of in that tier above Argentina. And again, I can give you very specific reasons why they won't win. And Argentina is in that second tier and near the top of it. I just need to actually see this look different. We have too much of a track record of this being too difficult, too stressful, not being able to figure out how to fit everybody around Messi and make it work, for me to believe that all of a sudden it's all better and they really are the best team in the world. Certainly it can happen. I'm not ruling it out, and if we get through the group stage and they look terrific and they've got a couple multi-goal wins, my tone will change. I am open to having my mind be changed on this and sort of what I think their ceiling is. But I need to actually see it in Qatar for me to believe it's going to be different. But it's Messi. These teams that have more talent are vulnerable. And it's a free Messi with plenty of support. They absolutely can win this thing. They're just going to need to prove to me they're actually capable of doing so. That's all we've got on Argentina. Thanks so much for tuning in. And like I said at the beginning, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the other World Cup previews, as well as the rest of the Touchline Talk content coming your way on YouTube. And we'll see you next time.